Beelink SER10 MAX is a successor to the SER9, not the SER9 MAX. Specifically, the first SER9, not the second one which had a CPU swap. Although the SER10 MAX also takes some features from the SER9 MAX, so clear as mud. The fancy metal case mini PC, which set a new bar for low fan noise and high performance back in 2024 with a Beelink SER10, is back. A real banger of a unit, except for the wireless and Bluetooth issues. That, unfortunately, took far too long to resolve. Anyway, here we are again. One update is the CPU. Now, it's the AMD Ryzen HX 470, the successor to the 370 found in the original SER9. Same amount of cores and threads, same iGPU, but some clock speed bumps. Yep, another AMD refresh. Thanks, Lisa. Beelink SER10 MAX comes with a large 19V 120W power brick, which I think should be a compact GAN power supply for the asking price. There's also manual, power, and HDMI cable. The SER10 MAX is currently listed for $1,259 for the 32GB RAM, 1TB SSD combo. That's a $259 premium on top of the SER9's launch price, which does sound about right with the increase in RAM and SSD prices. Kudos to the DRAM cartel for swindling everyone the world over once again. Something I did notice when looking at the listing is that Beelink has increased their warranty from 1 to 3 years, which you'd hope to see for the price, and is in line with the established brands like ASRock, ASUS, MSI, etc. Another change over the SER9 can be found in the port selection on the back. The front though remains unchanged. Power button, clear CMOS, 3.5mm audio jack, USB-C 10GB supporting data only, and USB-A 10GB. Inside there's an Intel Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth card. For the price, you'd hope, no, expect Wi-Fi 7. The back has a USB-A 10GB with a USB 2 below it. Next to it is the improved network port, now a Marvel 10GB. A nice large jump from the 2.5GB found in the SER9. There's a DisplayPort, USB 2 under it, HDMI, another 3.5mm audio jack, USB 4 40GB, which supports power and display, and the barrel jack power connector. Alright, let's take a look inside it. If you're new here, I have an ongoing battle with glued on rubber feet and inserts being attached to screws. They're annoying AF to remove and never existed on the first mini PC all these types are based on. Yet in recent years, we keep seeing them popping up. Once your and my time has been wasted plucking them out, we get access to the 4 screws. Lift the lid, remove the 2 screws on the dust filter, and we can see what's inside. The big change here over the SER9 is that there are SODIMM slots taking up the space where the internal speaker used to be. The included Crucial RAM tops out at 5600 megatransfers, while the SER9 used faster, non-replaceable soldered LPDDR5X running at 7500 megatransfers. Apart from that, we have dual M.2 Gen 4 NVMe slots, with one of them taken up by a Crucial SSD. The previous Beelink Mini we looked at came with pre-installed apps. This one did not. Happy days. The malware scan for the OS came back clear. I did try the latest Ubuntu, and it worked fine. The SER10 MAX has 2 performance profiles on the BIOS, both were tested in this review, and I've brought back the SER9 for comparison, even if I don't have all the newer benchmark data for it. Cinebench R23 is up first. In single core, EHX 470 is the fastest AMD Ryzen chip on the chart. However, it does still lose out to Intel's 285H. In multi-core, the SER10 is the top performer in both modes, but the difference between the SER9 isn't much at all. There's a 1% improvement comparing the top scores. The HX 470 does better in Geekbench, where it only trails one Intel unit in the single-core benchmark, an improvement over the SER9 by around 4%. Unsurprisingly, it's the fastest AMD chip in multi-core. At best, it has a few percent improvement over the SER9. The ASUS NUC takes the win here with the brute force method by pumping the CPU with far more wattage. The short H.264 video encoding test is under a minute and a half to complete, a small improvement over the SER9. Doing another longer video encoding test with the AV1 codec again shows a small win for the SER10 MAX. Throwing the majority of the work to the iGPU sees a decent uplift for the SER10 MAX, but not against the best HX370 result. Onto the AI CPU test, and this chart takes the best score, which is performance mode if available. The chart is sorted by the best quantized result, and the HX470 didn't manage to beat two other HX370 AMD chips. But it does in the AI GPU test, clearly winning out on every metric, even if it doesn't have the fastest RAM. Next up are the 3D Mark results, and DX11 is clearly memory bandwidth limited, as all the winners above the SER10 MAX use faster LPDDR5X RAM. That's not the case in TimesFly though, where clock speed wins out. And same in Steel Nomad Lite, where the SER10 takes top spot. Don't get too excited though, it's only a 2% improvement. AMD's Radeon 890M is the fastest iGPU at this price point and plays many esports and older titles really well. Not so much with newer AAA games. Doom: The Dark Ages at 1080p low native rendering is unplayable for such a fast-paced title. Lowering graphics even further and using upscaling will give you more frames, but it's still not a great way to enjoy this game. The side-by-side comparison shows the SER9 and 10 MAX with pretty much identical frame rates in Cyberpunk 2077. This means the SER10 MAX is able to match the SER9 even with its faster RAM. That's not the case with Forza Horizon 5, where the SER9's faster RAM helps push the frame rate even higher. Alright, one more direct comparison. God of War Ragnarok favors the higher iGPU clock speed on the new chip. For emulation, you'll be able to play most Wii U, PS3 and Xbox 360 games on the SER10 MAX, no problem. It's possible to use an eGPU through the USB 4 port for much higher detail, resolution and frame rates, at a performance penalty for the 40 gigabit interface. What I found interesting with the Linux kernel compile test is that the performance mode did so little to speed up the task, and that's using much more power, which we'll see shortly. But yes, it's another win for the HX470. Next up is Adobe Photoshop. We don't see an improvement out of the box over the HX370, and performance mode still didn't take the win. However, the SER10 MAX did better in Adobe Premiere, coming in second place when performance mode is enabled. Beelink has thrown in a very unimpressive Crucial Gen 4 drive into the SER10 MAX. It's not even cracking the middle of the chart for performance. At least it's kept cool by the chunky heatsink and airflow going through it. While Bluetooth range isn't broken with the SER10 MAX, it is unimpressive and worse than the range we managed to get with the SER9. Wireless was tested at 12 meters or 39 feet from the router using the 5G band, and there were no dropouts or latency issues. Idle power draw is good, same as the SER9 at 8 watts. While the maximum is pretty similar, look at the difference between balance and performance mode. Up to 17 watts extra for little performance gain. Very inefficient. Maximum CPU temp is pretty good and below the norm. This chip is running hotter than the HX370 and the SER9 did, and we can see why with fan noise. Beelink has chosen to make this one even quieter than the SER9, which increases the temp. And again, it's one of the quietest minis on the market with this type of wattage. For me, the high results on this chart is often the deal breaker, and Beelink dominates when it comes to fan noise. The same mini PC case is reused, so that means the total volume is unchanged to the SER9, and it's still under 1 liter. The BIOS is pretty well featured and can be entered with the escape key on startup. AMD CBS has a bunch of options. UMC has memory overclocking. I tried to bump up to 6000 mega transfers, which booted, but the 3D Mark scores came back worse, and 6400 crashed. NBIO Common Options has the graphics configuration for the VRAM amount. By default, it's set to 4GB, which is fine. FCH has the AC power loss option. Back in Advanced, you can set the power mode in OEM Features Management, and there's NVMe RAID support. There's also an overclocking tab for those that want even more control. Alright, marking off the mini PC checklist, the SER10 MAX has jumped in price over the SER9, which wasn't exactly cheap in the first place. This mini should have come with a compact power supply, and if you want to mount it, you can't. The SER10 MAX has the common features you'd expect, like USB-C PD and USB 4, but no Oculink or dual LAN. If the rubber inserts stop being added, I'll say it's easy enough to open. This mini gets a tick for everything else. It performs well and has cooling where needed. Bluetooth range is subpar, but wireless was okay. Fan noise is definitely the biggest win for the SER10 MAX. Beelink offers BIOS updates more often than the other Chinese brands, and now we have the longer 3-year warranty, which is great to see. Beelink's SER10 MAX takes what was great before and slightly enhances it. A refreshed CPU, switch to replaceable memory, 10 gigabit networking. There's a lot to like. It's still a great performing mini PC and one of the quietest around, but mainly due to AMD's fault, it doesn't add much extra performance to the table. Anyway, find it linked in the video description, and if you're interested in a powerful Intel mini PC with the best external GPU interface, then check out my review of the Beelink GTI 15 Ultra right here. Cheers!